So this is a really big topic. I'm sure I will cover this many times in my videos to come, but today I'm going to be talking about the 6 key things that I do time and time again to try and get on top of anxious thoughts before they arise, or to help me get recentered, refocused, and back on a positive track when things start to get on top of me and I start to feel anxious. It goes without saying that everyone is different. The meaning of the word anxiety is different to everyone. How people experience this is also different to everyone. And I am not a healthcare professional. So, of course, make sure that you're talking to the right people, you're getting the right advice. Today, I'm just going to be sharing with you how I cope with it when I get a bit anxious, worried, and stressed. And I'm hoping that it will be useful for you. So if you're new here, welcome. It's great to have you. This channel is all about spiritual stuff, vegan food, figuring out what the hell we're doing here, what I'm doing, books I'm reading, anything that could potentially help you. Hopefully that's what this channel is about. Please check out my other videos and hit subscribe if you like what you see. That would mean so much. And if you are returning, welcome back. Even more amazing. I'm gonna strip off this cardigan. For me, at the moment, the main source of things that's stressing me out is just having too much to do. There's too much to do. And I find that stress and anxiety goes hand in hand for me. So when I get really stressed at work, or there's just too much stuff going on, then my mind starts to spiral and my normal patterns that keep me sane start to go out the window. I start to go to bed later because I finish work later, and then I get up later. I don't have my morning meditations. I don't eat the right food because I'm in a rush. I'm going from here, I'm going from there. That normally is a big trigger for me. Obviously, it's not super easy to solve that kind of thing, but one of the first things that I try to do is just recognize that it's happening. So that, of course, is a main trigger for me personally, but the other thing recently is obviously the ongoing situation that we're currently living within. That's stressful because when you think differently to other people and you feel very alienated and often alone, that can conjure up a lot of social anxiety and general just worrying thoughts that go round and round in your head. So that has also been a key trigger for me recently as well. It's been challenging, right? And I'm sure those of you who are along the same wavelength as me will know what I am talking about. I also think personally, and this is something that a lot of people share, it's just the need to do well at stuff. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, whether that's in our relationships, in our work life, in our social circles, or whatever the hell it is. We want to be the best, we want to get recognized, we want to be really great family members, great partners, great friends. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and the society that we live in kind of perpetuates the cycle of perfection and the expectation that everyone else is doing great and you're the only one that is struggling. There's no wonder then that so many people are suffering with anxiousness, anxiety, and just all-round negative thinking, because it's really tricky to break this cycle once you're in it. And of course, when everyone around you in the society that you live in, with social media and all the news and all the blah, 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 makes it 10 million times worse, then it's also hard to cut yourself away from that, step back from it, and go within. As a result, we often can find ourselves feeling very alone in feeling this way and not really sure where to go or what to really do with it. Oftentimes as well, we don't even know that we're feeling anxious, or that we're experiencing anxiety, or that we're feeling just not ourselves, because life is so fast-paced. You don't really stop to actually analyze or think, hey, am I doing okay? So the main thing that I'm trying to say here is that you are not the problem. I cannot say that enough, and that is the one thing I want you to take away from this video. You can stop watching the rest if you want, but please like this video before you leave. You are not the issue, okay? It's not you. We live in a strange world. We have lots of pressure on us. We all have crazy fast-paced lives. We're busy. As I was saying before, we want to be the best at things, we want to do things, we want to blah. So basically, you're not the problem. The things that I'm going to outline will hopefully help you to remember that you are not the problem. And of course, if you've seen my other videos, you know that my number 1 tip will be exactly that. Go within. Tip number 1 is to meditate. Now, I have whole separate videos on meditation, which you can see around here somewhere or linked below. And I talk about meditation for beginners. There's even a guided meditation that I put up recently to start your day off right and start your day with love. So please do check those out. But generally, the whole point of meditation is to just separate yourself from the noise of the world, and to remember that you are divine, beautiful, whole and complete as you are, and all this other external stuff is never going to make you happy. You can't put your happiness, and therefore you're never going to be able to find what you're looking for out there. It's always got to come from within you. And meditation, I could go on about this for ages, but whether you do it for 30 seconds or 30 minutes, it will help you, I promise you. So just find that space. If you feel yourself getting out of control, if you're feeling these anxious thoughts get on top of you, then meditating can be a really great way to deal with it. Not just that, but meditation is a really great way to stop these anxiety cycles from even happening in the first place. So I know that often people can say, and this came up recently when I was, talking to someone, that they really struggle to meditate once they're already anxious. Once the things are whirring and the mind is going, the last thing you want to do is sit quietly and try to observe your thoughts, and I get that. However, do still try, but building meditation in before you get to that anxious point and before you start to get into this negative cycle is the best way I found of trying to deal with these things. Because like with anything, once you start practicing, you get better. It's like a muscle, the more you build up your meditation practice, the more that you get more resilient, your mind is more flexible, you just are more easily able to remember that all of this bullshittery and nonsense is exactly that. It doesn't matter, it isn't real. It connects you back into your true self and it recenters you. So meditation is the top thing that I have found that helps me to build that mental resilience and to actually be able to find that peaceful space within me. That's the beauty of meditation. And I'm sure that those of you who have done a meditation know what I'm talking about. You just find this space and you're just like, holy shit, where was this? Like, was this here the whole time? Like, why did no one tell me about this? And once you found that space and you build meditation more and more into your days and into your practices, you're able to find that space more quickly and more easily, even without going into a formal meditation. An example is, when I'm feeling challenged at work or whatever, or someone's like pissing me off and or I'm worried about something and I'm finding myself getting stressed out about it, then I can more easily go back into that mental space, focus on my breathing, focus on my breath, meditate, and just remember that this will pass and that it doesn't truly affect me unless I let it. And so meditation, tip number 1, going within, connecting to the divine, whatever you want to call it. It also helps us to remember that we are ultimately in control. And especially today in our society, again, it's very socially acceptable to kind of think that life is happening to us and it's just kind of, we're just getting carried along with it, but meditating can help us remember that we are actually in control of this thing in here. It's not in control of us. We're not trying to run after a runaway train. We are driving the train and we can choose to put the brakes on at any point. So it just helps you to remember that you are in control of your mind and in control of your thoughts, and you can just pick another thought. Now, I appreciate that can sound far-fetched and undoable in real life, but trust me, it becomes more and more tangible as you meditate more and as you spend more time doing this practice. My second tip, tip number 2, is nature. Nature is the answer to most things, as far as I'm concerned. Nature is the answer to everything in life. If I'm feeling anxious, I have likely not spent enough time outside, and I'm not talking about sitting outside on the phone or sitting outside doing other things or trying to do something else. I'm talking about really sitting and being present outside. The healing that Mother Nature can do for us is indescribable if we just sit and be present with the noises of nature around us. So if you can get to some kind of natural space, even if it's sticking your head out of a window, then you will find that fresh air, the sound of birds, the wind, even if it's cold, how does the cold feel on your body? It just awakens you, it just livens up all your senses. So spending time in nature is a really great way to connect to what is real, what is true, and what matters. So again, if you're feeling anxious, just finding that time to step outside, even if it's 2 minutes in the morning before you start your day, even if it's pausing and counting to 10 before you open your car door in the morning and go to work, and just feeling how you feel, feeling what temperature it is, feeling the wind on your face. I'll let go of the car door now. Just feeling all of this stuff, even just for 10 seconds, just really reconnecting into nature can be so incredibly beneficial. I personally find that going into the woods really helps me, and just walking and just trying to be present on that walk. And I often find that having podcasts and listening to videos and stuff when I'm walking, or calling people when I'm walking, can also be really helpful. So it just depends on what you want to do and what you feel like on the day, but I think that if you can just be present, that is also really helpful. Equally, if you do feel like you want to hear other things or have that conversation with someone that you haven't had in a while, that might also help you to get over those anxious thoughts as well. And really quickly, just on this point as well, is that pine trees and the scent that the pine trees give out has actually been found to boost people's mood. And I think this was a Dr. Grieger talk, I'll link it below, but they actually found that there was a scientific benefit on boosting people's mood when they spent time in pine forests. Now, this isn't really a surprise to me, it makes total sense. I love trees, they are the grounding ancestors of our earth, so that's why tree hugging is totally beneficial, I think. But actually in Japan, they call this tree bathing, I think, or something like that. So they actually do this as an anxiety coping mechanism. So look into that, I'll put the video below, but certainly if you've got any pine forests near you, that beautiful kind of, citrusy, piney smell, really breathe it into your consciousness and use it to help ground you and recenter you. You can also burn pine oils as well, and you can put these in an essential oil burner, and again you can use those stimulating effects of the pine oil to help you and to ground you into positivity once again. My third tip, and perhaps the biggest one of all, is what are you putting in your body? So I'm going to talk about this from a nutritional perspective first of all. So your gut and your gut flora contains millions upon billions of bacteria. It's a microbiome, and it's now starting to be considered as another vital organ in your body because of such the huge importance that it has to your well-being. Your gut is meant to be the brain center of your digestive system, and it has now been shown to have real scientific links to depression and anxiety as well. Again, I would say check this out. I'm not an expert on it by any stretch of the imagination, but I find it absolutely fascinating, but also common sense, that what we're eating will have a direct impact on our gut flora and therefore a direct impact potentially on our mental health as well. So make sure that you're eating lots of fruits and veggies. I obviously follow a plant-based diet, but a whole food plant-based diet at that, and I like to make sure that I'm eating 30 to 40 different fruits and vegetables on any given week or day. Make sure that you're picturing that gut flora as a rainbow, and you want to fill it with goodness. You want to fill it with all the wonderful, beautiful, colourful fruits and veggies that our planet is blessed with as much as possible, and have a wonderful, varying diet. Again, there's so many people that talk about this now. You want to find the thing that works for you, but my go-to people are Dr. Grieger, Deliciously Ella for recipes, what's the other person? Ellen Fisher as well, we'll talk about this a lot, and she has wonderful, great things. But yeah, I would say look into this, but certainly what you're putting in your body physically, what you're consuming, what you're eating, will have a direct effect on the rest of you and your entire well-being. That just makes total sense to me. Also on nutrition, there has been certain superfood powders, I guess you'd call these, that are shown to have a measurable benefit on things like depression and anxiety. And one of these that I know about, maybe there's a bunch of others, put them below if you think they could help other people, but one of these that I know about is called ashwagandha powder. Ashwagandha powder I buy from Buy Whole Foods online, and basically if you just put a tiny bit of this in your smoothie every morning, it has been shown to have anti-anxiety effects and to boost your mood. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of research about this. Look into this, check it out. But ashwagandha is certainly something that has real genuine benefits on people's mental health. Another thing as well is called tulsi or holy basil. Again, I think you can probably eat this, or maybe people use it in cooking. I personally don't. I have it as a herbal tea form. I get it from Pukka, and they have this holy basil tea, and again the tulsi or holy basil, whatever you want to call it, has again been shown to have mood boosting, anti-anxiety effects, so check that out as well. Just like with the pine stuff I was talking about before, you can burn tulsi in an oil burner as well. So on those days if I'm feeling a bit whoa, frazzled, one of the first things I'll do is put some tulsi drops into my oil burner, set it up on my desk for the day, and then I can just breathe in those lovely calming herbs throughout the day, or they're just filtering around the house and in your consciousness, so that's nice as well. So you can also use it in an oil burner. You also want to make sure that you're getting the right vitamins. For me, obviously, I am a vegan. That means that I need to take B12, but it also means that every other person on the planet needs to take B12 as well, generally, because it is not some magical thing that exists in the air. It is something that used to exist in our soil, and then because we use lots of chemicals and pesticides and all this kind of stuff, it got washed away, and the only reason that it's in meat products is because they're injected into the animal, and then you eat the animal. So basically, B12 is something that most people should take anyway. It's something that generally people are deficient in. Check out your B12 intake. Again, this is really important on your overall well-being, your mood. It's a key vitamin, so make sure you're getting enough B12. I personally take a Veg 1 tablet which has got B12 in, but actually you're better to take a B12 in liquid form in a droplet under your tongue, because that maximizes the absorption. So check out B12 supplements as well, whether you're vegan or not. Vitamin D as well, another big one, kind of linking to nature. So the best source of vitamin D is, of course, getting outside and getting the sunshine on your bones, on your body. Vitamin D is really important. It helps us to basically synthesize serotonin, not directly, I won't go into this, but basically it causes things in your brain and things in your gut to then make the serotonin, and serotonin is obviously like the happy hormone, so you want vitamin D. So make sure you're getting outside, getting enough sunshine. For people in the UK and Britain, you want to make sure that you're having a supplement as well as that winter sunshine. So I think it's a good 1,000 milligrams or IUs, I always get that mixed up, but look it up, check it out, and make sure you're getting enough vitamin D. I personally take these lovely supplements by Viridian, and I will take 2 of those most days in the winter just to make sure that I'm getting enough vitamin D. Another big vitamin that you want to make sure you're getting a lot of, particularly as a vegan, is iodine. So iodine, again, similar to vitamin D, helps your thyroid, and with proper function of your thyroid you can then generate your happy hormone. So again, it's not a direct contributor, but it's a very important indirect contributor to making sure that your hormones and your body and your mental health is all in balance. For me personally, to make sure I'm getting enough iodine, I do take that Veg 1 tablet, but I'll often eat seaweed snacks. So I get these things from Itsu, and they're just really tasty, really nice, and I'll make sure that I'm eating those most days as well. So just making sure that you're putting the right stuff in your body, ideally whole food, plant-based, and you're getting lots of different colours, the different fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, grains, all that good important stuff, the advice of which you can get from proper nutritionist folk if you want to, but also making sure that you're getting those key vitamins as well, because that will help your mental health, your body, and your overall well-being. Tip number 4 is, what are you putting into your body mentally, I guess? So what are you watching? What are you reading? What are you surrounding yourself with? If you're finding that you're with people that drain you constantly, if you're watching the news, what are you doing? Don't watch the news. If you're doing all these things, and if you're on social media scrolling, oh, look at how perfect everyone's life is, stop doing these things, because they're gonna make you more anxious. Surrounding yourself by either conscious drivel of negativity or fake positive stupidness is obviously going to contribute to your mental state. So cut out things that you don't feel good about. And it doesn't matter if everyone else around you thinks it's okay, and it doesn't matter if everyone else around you says oh, you should watch the news. Fuck 'em. You do you, okay? I don't watch the news. I don't eat any of that mental negativity. I would rather go and listen to the birds, or look at the clouds, or spray myself with frankincense cleansing spray, or pick an angel card, or listen to Russell Brand, or listen to a meditation. If I'm going to watch the TV, it's going to be something light-hearted, fun, positive. Absolutely. So watch what you are consuming in your downtime, especially if you're already feeling anxious, worried, or down, or sad about anything. Try not to then watch these awful sad things, because they're just going to pull you down even further. Watch things that make you laugh, spend time with people who uplift you, do things that make you feel good. Even if other people around you don't understand that, you do you. Tip number 5. So tip number 5 is, go to your gurus. Gurus? I don't even know how to say that word. The people who you look up to and make you feel better. So kind of linked to before, what are you putting into your consciousness? Just find the people who uplift you and make you feel good, in terms of people who are out there on platforms okay, I'm not explaining this very well, but people like Russell Brand, Sadhguru, these are the people that I will go to if I'm I need help. These are the people that I will watch their videos and I will find some gem or pearl of wisdom. So go to these people because they know the way, they can help you. Not necessarily those people that I've named if they don't resonate with you, but you will have your own people who you read about, that you watch, that you learn from. Go to them. There's a bunch of videos by Sadhguru that talks about anxiety, depression, all that kind of thing. Again, I'll link them below. And going to people who have walked this path, perhaps have a different take on it than you, perhaps have some advice. I always find it helpful. And one of the things that I always really benefit from in Sadhguru's video is just stop taking life so seriously. And I know that's easier said than done, but if we just remember that we're just like weird skin suits floating around in some like space globe in the middle of the universe, which we don't even know that much about, like, really, does it matter, that thing that is on the top of your to-do list? Maybe it does, I don't know, it's just a question. Helping us to remember that actually it's not that big of a deal. We are not here for very long on this earth, relatively speaking. So don't let these little things drag you down and throw you off kilter, you know. Just remember that you're here to have fun, to be of service, to enjoy, you know, and don't let these small things get under your skin. So going to these people who speak with wisdom, who know the way, I find it very beneficial to spend some time with them, listen to their videos, read their books, and yeah, just be open to learning and moving forward with that. Tip number 6. So this one is just for us women. We have menstrual cycles. The menstrual cycles that we have are linked to various different wonderful magical things within our consciousness and our wonderful goddess energy. So check in with yourself. Where are you in that cycle? Sometimes you are more likely to be anxious at particular points, and that's completely normal and natural. Of course, there are still things that you can do to mitigate that, but by getting into a cycle and a rhythm of tracking your cycle and your rhythm, it can help you anticipate when you might be a bit more sensitive, when you might be a bit more prone to anxiousness, when you might be a bit more prone to worry. I certainly find this as I get closer and closer to the end of my cycle, I'm much more likely to be more sensitive, emotional, prone to anxious thoughts, prone to worry more. So for me, it's really important when I know that time is coming up that I kind of step back, reevaluate, do the things that make me feel good, do lots of self-care, lots of peaceful, gentle yoga, lots of great nutrition. Not that I wouldn't do that for the rest of the time, but I just found that it's really helpful to just track this and be aware of this, because that can have a real effect for women and your mental health. Okay, so those are my 6 tips on how I personally overcome anxiety or anxious and worrying and stressful thoughts when they start to arise. This is a very big topic. I could talk about this for a very long time. I've already spoken about this far too much, but hopefully that was useful for you. If it was, please like this video. It helps me to know what's useful. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already, and please leave a comment below if you have questions or if you want to help other people with the tips that you do as well. You are beautiful, whole, complete, and perfect just as you are. And I hope that you know that.